Look, we're talking more about that later on in the show. I want to jump into the transfer stories to begin with. And the big one today is expected. I'm going to go to Phil first on this. It's expected today that Chelsea Football Club will bid £60 million for Alejandro Garnacho. Thoughts on that, Phil?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of perspectives, obviously the player perspective and the business perspective. I probably think, in my mind, I would assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the 60 million is probably a number of add-ons in that. So I would assume there's maybe it's 40, 45 million up front with 10 to 50 million in add-ons, I think. And I think in terms of him being, 20, 21 years of age, Chelsea are probably banking on the fact that if he's not, probably when he's in his mid-20s, that they can probably, if he doesn't do as well, maybe a French player, they can sell him for the same amount of money. But also as a player, he's still very, very young. He's still very, very raw. We don't know how he's going to develop. I think there's been maybe a little bit too much of an outrage, or I don't know how much of it is manufactured, how much of it people kind of just giving each other stick about Garnacho. I think he's a decent player and he could be really, really good if he's in the right environment, given the right chance. It could be it could be good business. It could also be, I can't remember if it was you, Terry, or someone on the show was talking about how I think there could be a little bit of a conspiracy of where maybe clubs helping each other out in terms of financially. So
I said that, and I first of all said it as a joke, but the more I think about it, there seems to be what you said so true. There are some Man United fans that are gutted by this. It's the concept of selling a talented youngster. They say Man United don't do it. I actually think we should have done it more in recent years if there is signs that the player isn't going to reach the highest levels. We are also in a mess financially. I wouldn't say we're as broke as some are making out, and even the club will state, because I like the fact we're saying we're broke, because it will drive the price down of players and can help us sell more. I saw Chelsea fans yesterday go, you can't be serious about selling him. He started. But of course, we're telling you he's an important first-team player. How can he not be in the squad if he's an important first-team player? I'm kind of in the middle with it. I think Garnacho is a talented player, but I'm also going to, and look, I could end up with egg on my face with this, but I'm going to put my neck on the line and say I've been asking for key football decision makers with footballing backgrounds to run my football club for 11 years. They're now in place. I'm not going to over scrutinize every decision. I said it in the summer. I'm going to give it an upfront opinion. I wouldn't sell Garnacho, but I'm going to be objective about it and see how things transpire. There's talk today, and I'll give you an example here. We'll get back to Chelsea in a minute, but that Man United could consider a move for Tyler Dibbling if they sell Garnacho. And for me, again, if Garnacho was to leave and Tyler Dibbling was to come in, I'm not going to cry. There's talk that we could go for Cunha. Again, if Garnacho leaves and Cunha comes in, I'm happy. There's talk we could go for Osimhen. So for me, I'm not just worried about the outgoings. It's who do we spend it on and does the team get better? That for me is the most important functionality here, not what do I want versus what I do not want. So I can be subjective and say I'd like Garnacho to stay, but at the same time, United fans have cried for years that we want people that have footballing backgrounds to make the footballing decisions. I don't think we can or should be having a meltdown after every single decision, every single step of the way. It's exhausting for me anyway. It's exhausting to behaving that way. So from my perspective, yeah, I'm quite relaxed. From a Chelsea point of view, Kate, from their perspective on this, a lot of their fans seem angry. A lot of their fans seem disappointed. Do you see this as a good piece of business for Chelsea?
I think I said it last time I was on the top six. I think it's a bit weird for Chelsea because I think that they need more experienced players in their team because they've got a relatively young team. But at the same time, I would love Garnacho at Spurs. I mean, he's better than anything we've got, in my opinion. So I think it's a great, not that that's difficult. I see Henry laughing, but not that that's that particularly difficult. I think he's got the potential to be one of the best wingers in the Premier League, at least. So I understand why Chelsea are a little bit Chelsea fans, but at the same time, they're buying a very good player. It might not be exactly in the position that they feel they need, but I think although he's young, he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's had quite a bit of experience already. And I don't really understand why they wouldn't be happy. I think this guy's a really good player. I really like him, but You can't please everyone all the time at the end of the day.
The thing is with Chelsea fans, they're going off what they've seen in the last 18 months, which hasn't been good from Garnacho. I'll be honest, he's performed better, and I know he can do better. But the problem is that Man United as a team, we're not helping him, Garnacho. So we've put him on stage, really, really raw, playing him week in, week out, and his flaws are coming out to be shown. Whereas if we had an actual good team who were experienced players in front of him, say if Rashford actually was performing in front of him, he would be coming in, playing here and there, coming off the bench, impacting games. And I think the view of Garnacho would be different. Even from United from the United fans, including myself, our view of him would be different, because when he first broke into the team, he was only playing here and there. He'd come off the bench, impact games. I remember scoring against Fulham. I remember the assist for McTominay against Aston Villa. So if he was still doing that 2 years on from that point, we as United fans wouldn't be so up. We wouldn't be in this place of, is selling him a good idea or not? We would just say no, because we developed him correctly. But because he's been exposed, we're seeing that he's not ready for the full-time thing, and therefore everyone's saying we don't want him. At Chelsea, he would have Sancho in front of him. He would have Pedro Neto. He would have players in front of him who are more experienced and probably give him a chance to not hide, as in he's just to do anything to pitch, but he can just develop, I think, a bit more quietly at Chelsea, if we're being honest. And that's not his fault that Man United have put him in a place where he has to play week in, week out. That's on the club. That's on the senior players in front of him who've not performed. So Garnacho, for me, if he stays, fine. You know, like he is a talented player. People call him not talented. He is talented. He's got a lot to work on if he wants to be a starter for Ruben Amorim. So he needs to focus on developing in those areas. But if we sold him, I'm not too mad either, you know?
Like, yeah, I hear you on that. I want to go to some of the comments here. Sonny here says PSR. Part of it is PSR, but I also believe if Garnacho was tearing up trees, if the scouting team, the recruitment team, if Wilcock, if Parada, and of course Ruben Amorim looked at him and said, we cannot let him go for love nor money, we wouldn't. We're looking at bringing in, according to reports today, the likes of Cunha, Mbomo's on that list. We're looking at another young player in Tyler Dibbling. That tells you that they also don't think he's good enough to play the brand of football that we're now developing at the club. And one thing United fans are not considering in this conversation, and I don't expect Man United to publicize this because why would they? We decided we should have done it in the summer. We didn't. We've had that conversation. It's dead. It won't be happening very often again on the football terrace because it's been done. We've decided halfway through the season to change how we want to play football. There was always going to be casualties. There was always going to be casualties. And every club that has had a seismic change in how it plays football has seen players become casualties that they maybe didn't expect. I think a lot of City fans, when Pep came in, probably didn't expect Joe Hart to be ousted as quick as he was. Probably because he was a good goalie. They loved him. He was England's number one, I think, at the time. Suddenly he was gone as an example. And this is what happens, is that as soon as something comes in where there's a change, and obviously playing out from the back was so important to Pep Guardiola. He needed a goalkeeper with that ability on the ball. And Man United obviously want a certain bit of talent. And again, if Tyler Dibbling comes in and is amazing for us, every Man United fan is outraged about Garnacho. If the replacement improves us, their boo-hooing, their crying will stop, which is why I'm not going over the top. My heart says I don't want to sell him, but I'm going to be objective and I'm going to be logical about it. Twisted Bubba says, Ineos only looking through the financial lens. Most clubs look through the financial lens. It's why City sell so many academy players to make money so they can spend. Newcastle are looking through the financial lens. All clubs have to with PSR in place. You can't just lose whatever money you want. It is true. So yes, I'm glad for the first time in 11 years we have owners who are looking to not overspend and leave us financially short. Because if the Glazers and Woodward had been prudent and thrifty at times, sold right and not overpaid for the wrong players for 11 years, we wouldn't be in this situation. So attacking Ineos now for trying to protect the finances for the medium to long term is crazy. The reason that we're in this place, in this position, is because of poor mismanagement beforehand. And I am a bit disgusted that the media is again failing to focus on the Glazers. I don't know what influence the Glazers have on the media, but it's disgusting. It really, really is. This year, I'll throw this one to KJ. Would you take Grealish for 100 million next summer?
I wouldn't even take Grealish for free, and I like Grealish. Like, no, replacing Garnacho is something that we have to be smart about in terms of it can't just be a player who's washed like Grealish, and it shouldn't be, in my opinion, Tyler Dibbling. As much as I like him and I want him, I think that's a deal you do in the summer after Southampton get relegated. You bring him in, have him for pre-season, and then probably loan him out to get him more experience.
Do you think he improved you, KJ? Sorry to cut you off. Do you think because he's another out and out winger? You don't need out and out wingers.
So the Dibbling, like I've seen him play out wide, and I've also seen him because they play three at the back now with
right wing forward.
Yeah, he's more of a like a 10 wide forward kind of thing. He would suit the system better than Garnacho, in my opinion. The way that he plays, go on.
He'd suit the system more. No, do you not think going from a youngster to another youngster who's essentially going to be thrown in the deep end? Like you need. If I was a United fan, I'd rather sign someone like Buemo.
Yeah, I would.
But guys, let's put this in context for a moment. I agree with you. If we just signed Dibbling, the reports are it's two players that are currently both in the bottom half of the league, right? So if it's Dibbling and Cunha, does that change your mind about bringing Dibbling in now?
Yeah, I hope you don't get either of them. I really, really like those players. Like those type of profiles are exactly my type of profile players. I really, really hope you don't get them. Tyler Dibbling, for instance, 18, 19 years old, got a very similar profile, in my opinion, to a Kulusevski, Cole Palmer type of way about him. Dribbling, can go also left or right, can unlock low block defenses as well as going on the transition. He's got the swagger that you need for a player to be playing in that position. Phenomenal player. I really, really hope you don't get him. Cunha, I did the show literally yesterday, not all about him, but he featured prominently. Can play across the front three as well as attacking midfielder as well. First touch, very direct. Again, dribbling, pace and power, all the stuff that you don't have.
Yeah,
they give you like in bucket loads, in absolute bucket loads. And I just hope you don't get them. And I think that would definitely be if you're selling Garnacho for 60 million and you get Tyler Dibbling for I don't know what the price is at the moment. Whatever it is, it's still worth it. I think just in terms of what you said, KJ, around waiting till the summer. The only reason why you might not be able to wait till the summer is, for instance, I know Newcastle are really interested. There's like several clubs, and if Southampton, who know they're going to go down, Man United might have to make a deal that essentially they can't refuse now rather than in the summer. So I think that's the only reason why it's been pushed that way. So, but yeah, Tyler Dibbling, Cunha, I really, really hope you don't get those players. I hope at least we can get one of them.
If you get those two, those two, I'm cool with it being Dibbling and an experienced player. Dibbling by itself would be an issue. But you see the likes of Cunha, Dibbling, and Bremo, like Ryan Cherky from Lyon. I'm a big fan for this system. He could probably do a job working there as well. This is why selling Garnacho for me isn't this doom and gloom situation, because there are players out there who will fit what we're trying to do. If it was literally there's no good wingers or inside 10s out there, and we're selling Garnacho for 60 million to buy, I don't know, a washed Lamella from wherever he is now, then I would be
easy to Greece, I think.
I don't know where he is, you know what I mean? But like I'll be angry and annoyed because like what is the point of doing that? But when there's abundance of players who suit what we're trying to do, it's almost like Gittins as well. Gittins is a great example.
Yeah.
Again, when we've got players who can fit what we can do around Europe, I'm not mad that we can sell one guy for 60 mil, free up our PSR situation, and then potentially sign two. And if Rashford goes, hey, maybe even a third. Like we don't know.
And that's I think it's funny. We keep trying to talk Chelsea, but we end up talking back about Man United. And we will get back to Chelsea in a moment. But that's why I'm not panicking. And there's a few reasons for it. I'm gonna just wait Because right now, there's a comment that came through from Twisted Bubba that's kind of true. But he's looking at it, in my opinion, the wrong way around. He says United are confused. No, United fans are confused. United fans are confused because there's a nervousness about waiting to see the fruits of this labor. There is no patience. And I understand some of it. I know we were talking off air. There's a difference between Man United in the last few years being in the trenches versus where Newcastle were a few years ago. There's no doubt about it. But United fans are frustrated and they are worried. And they want to start seeing some better results and they want to see the team improve. And again, maybe it's because this is what I've been asking for 11 years, more so than just sacking managers and just selling players, that I'm a little bit more prepared to sit and wait. And we see it every day right now. Every day, every little decision and minute detail at United is being, in my opinion, overly analysed. I've never seen anything quite like this in my life. And some of the things aren't nice. Some of the things aren't great that we're having to do. But I think United fans have got to just be a little more patient. He also says Amorim's system or United's philosophy. Well, again, Twisted, you always ask quite not probing questions. You always ask a lot of questions like this that are just, they're not, I wouldn't say they're hard to answer, but it's a case of you're always looking to catch people out. So I'll answer it this way, that we're hopeful that it's both. But again, no one knows whether it's both until we change manager. So we're being told it's both. I'm just going to sit in the world that it's both for now. Because again, what's the point of me stressing today for the next 5 years that the next manager might have a different system and philosophy and need to overhaul the squad? There's no point me using any of my humanly body energy on that. I can't control it. I can't change it. And it's years away. So we have been told that the club is restructuring itself for a club philosophy. We're going to sit in that space for now. Until there's evidence that we're not doing that, I don't think there's any point debating it. And there's any point wasting any energy on it, my friend. So hopefully you won't ask that question again and again and again and again and again, because it's crazy.